Hello there, and welcome back to the channel. We do have the college football playoff rankings. They just came out a couple of minutes ago, and we're going to kind of go through this here. We're mainly going to focus on the important stuff in that top 10 realm, but I will highlight the rest of the top 25. We have Texas A&M, we have Louisiana, we got Kentucky, Arkansas, Houston. Pretty good grouping here. Houston and Louisiana only have the one losses on their resumes. Overall, Texas A&M they've played a tough schedule this year. Arkansas as well is very tough in that SEC, very very competitive top to bottom. We also have Clemson, another big school that a lot of people thought they were going to be competing for the actual college football playoff and biting for a spot there. They have not really looked the part at the start of the year. They had some struggles, but they were able to figure it out a little bit more and jump up the rankings. And now we're going to jump into that top 15 realm. Now we have Pittsburgh, Wake Forest, Utah, NC State, and San Diego State. Wake Forest is the team that really jumps out to me, as well as Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has Kenny Pickett, who has emerged as one of the best college quarterbacks, and as well as Sam Hartman, two very, very good quarterbacks for these programs, really carrying these teams into these rankings. Overall, very, very impressed what I've seen so far from Wake Forest this year. They have far exceeded my expectations 100%. And now here are the really, really competitive teams that, at one point in the year, you have Michigan State and Iowa and Oklahoma all in that college football playoff discussion. Michigan State's got the two losses, so does Iowa. This is a team, Iowa, let's jump to them quick. They were number 2 in the nation. A lot of people were saying that they should be in that college football playoff and that they probably will last. That did not last long. That did not last long. I was very, very cautious of this team. I had my concerns. They did drop 2 games. However, they are getting a chance to win that Big Ten championship against Michigan. So huge, huge game there. Oklahoma, tough loss against Oklahoma State. We watched that game, and Oklahoma State, they are so good on defense. It's incredible. But Oklahoma, tough pill to swallow. Lincoln Riley taking off for USC. Very, very upsetting if you're an Oklahoma fan. Now we're jumping into that top 10. And here are some teams that very likely will not make it to that college football playoff. However, they're in that area. There's not been a single team in the college football playoff era that's made it to the college football playoff with 2 losses. So keep in mind, it's a difficult pathway here for these teams. Reason being, they got the 2 losses on their resume, and historically speaking, that does not bode well. You obviously have Ohio State, which they were really, really hoping they could defeat Michigan. Michigan came out, they played very, very well in that game. It's crazy because CJ Stroud still had a good game as well. Just wasn't enough to take down the Wolverines. The offensive line had a tough day. Tough day handling Aiden Hutchinson, who is emerging as a top 5 NFL draft pick. So, overall, very disappointing day for Ohio State. Moving into number 6, another team that just lost their head coach and Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly's taking off for LSU. And this is a program, that has been really, really good the last couple of seasons under Brian Kelly, multiple 10-win seasons. And they are just on the brink of getting there. So now a lot of the distractions, it's tough for Notre Dame. They're just on the outside looking in. And so is the other team we're about to talk about, Oklahoma State. Now, Oklahoma State, really, really good defensive team. Very, very good at running the football. Jalen Warren's been great. Spencer Sanders is a guy that can keep you in a football game. He makes plays with his legs. He's a creative playmaker. Oklahoma State is the team that very well could benefit from Alabama potentially losing that SEC championship. If they do, to Georgia. Georgia's a tough opponent. So, how is the committee going to feel if they have a second loss? Judging from what we've seen in the past, it's possible that they'd fall out completely. Despite it being to Georgia, I think that gives Oklahoma State the opportunity to jump up. And speaking of number 4 here, we have Cincinnati. Cincinnati is that team at 4. Reason being, they're obviously undefeated. They have a lot of NFL talent on this roster. They're ready to play. Very, very likely going to make the college football playoff. With this ranking, it was really crucial. You had some of these other teams drop out, especially Ohio State. Give Cincinnati some life. This is a competitive team. I know a lot of people say that they're going to get walked on. I think they are a much tougher opponent than people give them credit for. Something that does need to be said. If you look at their strength of schedule, yes, they have one of the easiest in the entire nation. I think they have the 98th toughest schedule, which is brutal. I mean, it's an easy schedule, but they're winning their games. You have to go out and win every single week. So give Cincinnati a ton of credit. They can compete with some of these teams up here. Number 3, Alabama. This is a program that obviously knows how to win. Nick Saban does a great job year in, year out. Despite their team always being decimated by the NFL draft, they always have the top recruits to come back in and fill in and play like experienced college veterans. So looking at this team here, I think it's very possible they drop out. It's tough. You're going to have to go up against Georgia in that SEC championship game. They're a team that very well could be losers of that. And now number 2, we have Michigan. Michigan played super well against Ohio State. Really effective running the ball. Hassan Haskins was on a tear. Aiden Hutchinson was a disruptor, generating 15 quarterback pressures, 3 sacks, also set the school record in sacks. Just a dominant performance, controlled the line of scrimmage all day single-handedly. They put multiple guys on him. You had Thayer Mumford on him. You have Nicholas Pettit-Freer is another guy that they had on him. They just couldn't contain Aiden Hutchinson. Despite that, that they are number 2. Reason being, you have number 1 Georgia, perfect season so far. They're really great on defense. All 3 levels have NFL prospects across the board. Darian Kendrick, Jordan Davis, Nakobe Dean, you name it. This team has prospects all across the board. They're quick, they're strong. It's a tough defense, historically great defense as well. You have to wonder, what's this SEC championship going to look like? It will really construct the entire college football playoff outlook, because if Alabama loses, it puts a lot of pressure on the committee, because you have a couple of one-loss teams that are very deserving to be in that final spot as well. Thanks everybody for tuning in. If you do enjoy this content, hit that subscribe button. Please also leave a like if you do enjoy college football playoff reaction videos. We really do appreciate all the support, and we will catch you guys in our next video.